lakini ninajua Watanzania wananipenda pamoja na ninyi. Ninajua ninayoyafanya ni kwa maslahi mapana ya Watanzania, hasa Watanzania maskini. Kwa hiyo ndugu zangu, tuendelee kuchapa kazi, tuendelee kumtanguliza Mungu mbele, kila mmoja kwa imani yake, lakini tujenge Tanzania yetu. Mimi ni mtumishi wenu na nataka niwaambie ndugu zangu, siku moja mtanikumbuka. Na mimi ninajua mtanikumbuka kwa mazuri, si kwa mabaya, kwa sababu nimesacrifice maisha yangu kwa ajili ya Watanzania maskini.
We all know that Africa has been an age full of global influence and Western dominance. Yes, but over the past years, there have been countable African men and women who have refused to bow down to the pressures of the Western influence. You know, leaders whose actions have actually spoken louder than their words, yet their words shook the corridors of power in the West. Today, Africa is Marwa wants to focus on one man, John Pombe Magufuli, the late and the fifth president of Tanzania, who was a total, true Pan-Africanist. Well, before we even proceed, thank you very much for tuning in to Africa is Marwa. I mean, if you're coming back for another time, thank you for your continuous support. We are at now 1,200 subscribers, and this is such a great milestone ever since we started like 3 months ago. For those who are coming the first time, please don't forget to subscribe and hit on that notification bar so that every time we do a video, you get it on your timeline. Remember also to share this video wide with those people that really value taking interest of Africa to be really ours, because yes, we know Africa is ours. So how then did Magufuli come into the African limelight? You know, Magufuli was elected in 2015 and was no ordinary leader. You know, he was actually nicknamed the bulldozer for his no-nonsense approach to governance. He brought a new wave of hope to the Tanzanian people and the African continent. He was just a reformist leader. You know, if you look at the project that he had before and how he usually monitored his project, you'd see that he really needed change, be it for the people of Tanzania, and even the conversation that he had. He actually needed an Africa which was independent, an Africa that stood tall and proud and shackled by foreign influence.
Mkataba ulikuwa malizike mwezi wa 7. Leo ni mwezi wa 10. Na waziri alikuwa anazungumza hapa, wanatakiwa kukabidhi mwezi wa kwanza. This is not fair. Kwa sababu kuanzia mwezi wa 7 mpaka mwezi wa kwanza ni miezi 4. Palitakiwa watu wawe wanafanya kazi hapa, wanaingiza pesa. Palitakiwa hiyo employment ya watu 10 iwe hapa katika kipindi cha miezi 4. Hiyo miezi 4 nani atakaza kuzilipa hizo fedha na kuzifidia? Na ndio maana nalisema hili, mradi ni mzuri lakini utekelezaji wake ni very poor. Na hili nalizungumza mbele ya rafiki yangu Mheshimiwa Rais wa Malawi. Haiwezekani watu watafute visingizio vya corona. Kwanza effect ya corona katika nchi hii ni so minimal. Kwa hiyo kandarasi alitakiwa awe hapa. Kwa hiyo waziri, huyu contractor aanze kukatwa pesa za kuchelewa kukabidhi mradi. Tukienda kwa utaratibu huu, miradi mingi itachelewa. Na mimi nimeumbwa kusema ukweli, kwa sababu msema kweli ni mpenzi wa Mungu. Haiwezekani hawa makandarasi, Hena is a good contractor, but you are delaying the project. We can't tolerate that stupid things. Ifike mahali viongozi wa Dar es Salaam mulielewe hili. Hizi ni fedha za Watanzania maskini. Wamewekeza hapa ili kusudi wapate faida ya mradi huu. Kwa hiyo haiwezekani mnasema corona, baadaye mtasema mvua, baadaye mtasema jua, baadaye mtasema matope. Haiwezekani. Kwa hiyo mkurugenzi wa jiji, wewe ndio resign mkataba huu. Nataka mradi huu kabla ya mwezi wa 11 huu umemalizika. Hakuna extension. Mwezi wa 11 wafanye kazi usiku na mchana. Kuna umeme upo, maji yapo, watu wa kufanya kazi wapo, pesa zipo. Hakuna sababu ya kusingizia corona. Mbona hawajavaa hata barakoa hapa?
Magufuli had a clear vision for self-reliance. He was actually a true champion of self-reliance for Africa and for the Republic of Tanzania. Under his leadership, Tanzania highly prioritized local industries, encouraged Tanzanians to embrace homegrown solutions, and resisted unnecessary foreign aid. We can all count the foreign loans that Magufuli rejected while he was in power. Well, he kept on reminding Tanzanians that the country will not depend on donors forever and that they must actually learn to stand on their own, because he believed Africa's future lay in its own hands and not in the pockets of the Western powers.
The transport between Ikome and Nyakaliro was very bad. That's why you can see a lot of people, they're just celebrating, enjoying the outcome of this CCM manifesto. I'm sure you don't want to hear that, but that is the reality.
Okay, what would you say is the situation regarding infrastructure in Tanzania 50 years after independence?
Of course, in 1961, the issue of infrastructure, it was very bad. We used to have only 1,300 kilometers tarmac road. Now we have more than 60,500 kilometers network for the whole country of 949,000 square kilometers. But as well, we are now constructing more than 11,154 kilometers countrywide to be in tarmac roads. So you can see it yourself that there is a lot of improvement as far as infrastructure is concerned.
Do you think Tanzania will make a good way regarding development in the coming years? So what are the main problems?
That is obvious, because after all, we used to depend on development donors as far as infrastructure is concerned. Now we are constructing some of the roads by using our own budget. So that is something which is very special. And I think that according to the Tanzania situations, we have the Tanzania model of constructions, and we do it by design and construct methods. And I think that among the African countries, Tanzania is number one for organizing their own resources as far as construction of roads is concerned.
Okay, and what was the situation before this ferry took into?
In 1961, we used to have only 5 ferries, and those for the whole country. And those 5 ferries, actually, they were just operating by using loop manual. Now we have approximately 30, but the one which are now working, there are more than 29 ferries countrywide.
Okay, very good. What was the situation when this ferry over there was broken, and I think there was no ferry for several years?
Of course, people used to die in the wreck, and we lost a lot of lives. That's why before delivering my speech, we have to stand at least to show some appreciation for the fallen heroes, the victims of this wreck. So now everything is going nice.
Okay, asante sana.
Magufuli defied the West with action and words. His boldness extended beyond policies. He openly criticized the exploitative nature of some foreign investment and aid programs, calling out the West for their meddling. He actually wondered why they come as investors, but in reality, they are looters. Their aim on the country's resources, and they all live without anything tangible for the people of Tanzania, and then they call that development. You know, his unapologetic stance earned him actually a great admiration across Africa and criticism from the West, because he was totally against the world order.
and our respective countries, including the late Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, Mzee Kennedy Kaunda, the late Samora Machel, the late Agustino Neto, the late Sese Kama, the late Nelson Mandela, Mzee Robert Mugabe, Mzee Samu Mjoma, just to mention a few, have taught us that the power of unity, when it is channeled with purpose to achieve an objective, can provide a remarkable result. It can even move a mountain. Indeed, it was because of unity our founding fathers, with the limited resources, were able to fight colonialism and emerged victorious. This is why I appeal to you, Your Excellencies, that let us work together to ensure the dream that our founding fathers had in establishing this organization is achieved, and our goal for socio-economic transformations and emancipations of our region is realized. Indeed, I personally believe that if we can work together, our economy will not grow by 3.1%. We shall be able to improve trade between us. Our industrial sector will grow. Our contribution to the global trade shall increase. Our people will no longer remain poor, and decent jobs will be available to our young people. In addition, I believe if we work together, peace and security will prevail in our region, and we shall also have a strong early warning mechanism and a system that will help us deal or reduce the impact of these natural disasters. As we are all aware, this brotherly and sisterly country has been on sanctions for a long time. These sanctions have not only affected the people of Zimbabwe and their government, but our entire region. It is like a human body. When you chop one of its parts, it affects the whole body. Therefore, I would like to seize this opportunity to argue the international community to lift up sanctions it imposed on Zimbabwe. This brotherly country, after all, has now opened a new chapter, and it is ready to engage with the rest of the world. It is therefore, I believe, in the interest of all parties concerned to see these sanctions be removed. In this respect, I wish also to urge all SADC member states to continue to speak with one voice on the issue of Zimbabwe. Long live SADC, long live Africa, a luta continua. I thank you for your kind attention. Asante sana.
As I said before, not only his actions that shook the West, but also some of his speeches shook the West. You know, his speeches were more than words. They were actually called to action. He called on every African leader to unite so that they resist exploitation and to chart their own destiny. I quote him, "Africa must stop being a continent of begging. We have been doing this for a long time. We have the resources. We have the capacity. It's time to use these for the benefit of our people." The end of the quote.
We are supposed to move together. We are supposed to consider the best issue of economic developments. We have no brothers. We have no fathers. We are supposed to move as Africans. Africa should move on their own. They are supposed to change the directions. We are supposed to focus according to our directions, according to our environments. That is the only way we can help our people. Nobody should come and say that he's there to save the problems of our people. We are the one, we leaders, we are supposed to change the directions as far as economic is concerned for our people. And the only solution is to move together.
These words were not just a music to the Western ears, because this really made the West understand that this man was really against them and whatever they were trying to introduce in the Tanzanian Republic. And they were also not just for the Westerners, but also a call to action for the Africans. You know, one of the powerful speeches was against the COVID-19 vaccination, and I think this is actually what bring him to limelight and with the West and with all the African leaders, because we know every country was in a panic mode when COVID-19 was introduced to the world order, and people were asking themselves, how can we actually tackle this virus? And you know, for Magufuli, he actually boldly said that COVID-19 was not in Tanzania, and that the people of Tanzania should not wear masks, should not take the vaccination. And this was totally against what the West actually wanted. And it actually made him famous in Africa for the only president who took a stand against the COVID-19. But for the West, it actually meant that they were not going to sell any vaccination to Tanzania. And what picture was this sending then? It meant that he was actually against the world order.
Tanzanian President John Magufuli has claimed that vaccinations against COVID-19 are dangerous and instead urged Tanzanians to protect themselves from the deadly disease by using local remedies. There are some Tanzanians who recently traveled abroad in search of the coronavirus vaccine. These people brought the virus into our country when they returned. Let us stand firm. This vaccine is not good at all. Magufuli has long downplayed the seriousness of COVID-19, declaring in April that there was no virus in the country. We need to put God first in fighting against this dangerous disease, but at the same time, take health precautions to protect ourselves against this disease as advised by our health experts. We have lived for over a year without the virus, and the good evidence is most of you here don't wear masks. In Tanzania, concerts, election campaign rallies, and football matches have been going on unhindered.
His legacy lives on. Magufuli's untimely death in 2021 actually left a very, very big void. The cause of his death, rumoring to be COVID-19 that he highly opposed. Many did not buy into this idea or into this cause of his death, and it still remains a shock to date on what killed Magufuli. His legacy remains alive, and his dream of independent Africa actually continues to inspire millions to this day. Talk about Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, talk about of Assimi Goïta, talk about of Diomaye Faye of Senegal, talk about Duma Boko of Botswana. You know, leaders who continue accelerating the conversation of Africa, you know, leaders who want an independent Africa and who don't shy away of speaking their sense against the Western influence.
Ninawaomba sana ndugu zangu wa Kristo, ndugu zangu wa Tanzania, tujue Mungu yupo. Mungu anaweza kila kitu. Tusiogope, siku moja tutakufa. Hata mimi nitakufa. Kutokana na alichokipanga Mungu, naweza nikafa kwa corona, naweza nikafa kwa nini. Na ndio maana mnaniona hata mimi sijavaa barakoa. Sio kwamba siogopi kufa. Nimeona niliseme hili. Nimemshukuru sister hapa hajavaa, lakini wenzake wawili wamevaa. Nikasema sasa kama hawa viongozi ndio wanatueleza kila siku tumwamini Mungu, vipi leo? Mungu anaweza. Tutaokolewa kwa neema. Tutaangamia. Msifikiri tunapendwa mno. Vita ya uchumi ni mbaya. Na ndio maana nawapongeza watu waliovaa barakoa za kujitengenezea wao. Ninamwona mama pale amevaa ya kitenge. Hongera sana mama. Hizi tunazozinunua madukani tunajiua wenyewe. Ni lazima niliseme, watatukana, lakini nina wajibu wa kusema ukweli.
Magufuli taught us that African solutions lie in African hands. His courage to challenge the status quo should actually inspire every leader and citizen on this continent. The question is, are we ready to take the baton? We are proud of leaders like Ibrahim Traore who continue showing the kind of leadership and voices that Africa needs. Africa is Marwa closes. We continue celebrating all the African leaders who dare to defy. These are the voices and stories that should actually matter, because we have the vision of an Africa that belongs to its people. Thank you very much for watching Africa is Marwa. Those coming for the first time, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. To our returning viewers, thank you once again for your insurmountable support and for making Africa is Marwa to be at 1,200 strong. Let's keep on mobilizing more and more so that each and every one of us will take the conversation of the African continent globally. Don't forget to like this video, don't forget to share the video, and don't forget to come back next time. Bye until next time.
Ninajua Watanzania wananipenda pamoja na ninyi. Ninajua ninayoyafanya ni kwa maslahi mapana ya Watanzania, hasa Watanzania maskini. Kwa hiyo ndugu zangu, tuendelee kuchapa kazi, tuendelee kumtanguliza Mungu mbele, kila mmoja kwa imani yake, lakini tujenge Tanzania yetu. Mimi ni mtumishi wenu na nataka niwaambie ndugu zangu, siku moja mtanikumbuka. Na mimi ninajua mtanikumbuka kwa mazuri, si kwa mabaya, kwa sababu nimesacrifice maisha yangu kwa ajili ya Watanzania maskini. Kwa hiyo tusimame pamoja, tusibaguane kwa vyama, tusibaguane kwa ajili ya dini zetu, tusibaguane hata kwa makabila yetu. Sisi tuijenge Tanzania.